Hello, hello.
This is Queen Mother, Dr. Dowoti M.
Queen Mother.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, we say KBSU for the Queen Mother. So please.
If is it all right if I go next?
Hello?
Yes. Is it okay if I go next?
You know the Queen Mother. Please go ahead, Queen Mother.
Okay.
I said to the Queen Mother, we say KBSC here because
yes.
The mother of the king is the Queen Mother. So you are a mother. So we give you all the due respect and honor. So please welcome. So we are now keeping ourselves so that we don't offend the Queen Mother. So please go ahead.
No, thank you. First, let me say in our tradition, in the Haitian tradition, we exchange the words honor and respect before we speak. When I say honor, please say respect. So honor.
Okay. Respect.
I can start now. Maybe the first lesson in decolonization in language is my title. As a Queen Mother in the Fong-Bay tradition, the Homean tradition, I am not necessarily the mother of the king. I am Pojito. I am she who birthed the leopard. And Pojito, while it's a title given to a woman, is more like in a way Kabiesi. So I don't have to be the mother of the king. I am a sovereign in my own right. So there are, even within our own languages, differences.
Okay.
There are two parts to my presentation, and I feel like I am eavesdropping on a conversation, as I was only asked to participate in this roundtable a few days ago. So I'm going to be speaking as a practitioner. And as a result, there won't be references to studies or known scholars here. But I even though my presentation, for me anyway, will be a little rough, because it's a work in progress, and as I said, I only had a few days notice to do this. I want to focus on a couple of things. One has to do with the value that we provide systems, and the other has to do with underlying their mathematical properties, but I don't think we're really going to have a chance to get there. I do have remarks to make, but I also have a brief PowerPoint presentation, which is, again, very much a work in progress. So as we talk about decolonizing language, we have to expand what we mean by language, if this hasn't already been done so explicitly. For me, we can't be talking only about written language that is text-based, language that we write, language that is oral, that we hear, language that is oral, that we speak, to be inscribed upon our persons. So it isn't just about writing, it isn't just about what we hear, it isn't just about what we say. For me, there's power in the things that we don't hear. And for myself, the decolonizing process has to extend itself into visual language, that is cosmography. And decolonization is also about spreading the nature of connaissance, in that way of reading visual design across systems. From Adinkra to Veve, we must be able to cull the richest meanings out of all of them. Even as initiates, we might think that we're familiar with what an image says, in a particular tradition, but I think if we look at them across traditions, we will understand that they are GIS systems for our people. And these GIS systems, the geographic information systems, are manifestations of the esoteric and the exoteric components of our initiatory traditions. That is material that is known publicly versus that which is known intimately by consecrated heads. And as we move from one initiatory tradition into another, that tracking system, of that spiritual GIS guides us. When we look at flat imagery, I'm sorry, there's somebody who needs to be put on mute because I'm picking up all sorts of sounds. I don't know who isn't on mute, but it's very distracting. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. When we're looking at flat imagery or two-dimensional imagery, it's sometimes misleading because in fact they may be three-dimensional or really fourth-dimensional in nature. The aspect ratio, the depth resolution, the spatial ambiguity of these images reveal themselves when they are ready to be seen, when they are ready to be perceived and interpreted. And that's when we see who they are, when the nature of the gaze gets reversed. And the full meaning of these images will reveal themselves to the persons who are connected to these symbols. And in many of our homelands, these elements of our cultures, or unlike our homelands, these elements of our culture cannot be colonized. I want to also speak about the ephemeral nature of these images. Sometimes when we read symbols, we assign the same principles to them that we attribute to a written text or a published text, namely a sense of permanency, which takes on a weight, quite literally, that smothers our capacity to understand the visual. Conversely, the use of adoxography, that is assigning a value to something of low or insignificant meaning to visual signs, can also be misleading. We need to allow for the subtlety of an object, its whisper, its capacity to allow us to feel the movement of its breath or traffic its gesture to manifest itself. So equally important is the value of temporality, that of the trace image as manifest in Haitian voodoo, in the veve, that visual language that we use when we communicate with the Lwa or the Orisha or the Inkisi. We trace these images with cornmeal, with flour, with coffee grinds, with efun. And when the sacred visual phonemes, they get danced upon, they go back into the earth, go back into space. Its molecules get recycled through the libated water down into the earth again and into the adjacent fire. It could be a candle, it could be an actual bonfire. It floats on the skirt of the wind, just as spirit does. And so recalling voodoo and other African theopraxises are eco-theological in nature. Decolonization of spiritual language and thought and space relates to how we move through that space and therefore how we think. We're going to take a look at some Ndinkra and Veve images, images that are visual communication systems from Africa and the African diaspora, that double as profound mathematical and geometric frameworks They reveal how mathematical laws ranging from transformational geography to theoretical particle physics and non-linear scaling are deeply woven into indigenous art, religion, and science. The math is always mathing for us, from our magnificent hairstyles to our rich textiles. And we may not be able to get through that part of things, but I want us to at least look at some of the images that I have. Um, but let me see if I can share my screen. I don't usually use this system, so I'm not sure how it works. Is the technical person able to guide me?
Yes, you see up on the right, it's written share. It's a rectangle. After the microphone, there should be share.
So do I share my entire window?
Yes, you share your entire window, and then there you open full screen your slides.
Okay. Do you see it?
Not
share
yet.
Window. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Share this window. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Well, my presentation is Decolonizing Terminologies, Decoding What Is Already Within Us. I wanted to start with the Bakongo cosmogram. For those who are not familiar with it, it is two intersecting lines, the vertical one often representing the connection between heaven and earth. The horizontal one separates life from death. There are 4 smaller circles at each end, a concentric circle in the middle, and an outer circle that reflects the recycling of energies. Each point, each quadrant represents different elements. So at the top, we have at the north the peak of physical power. It's associated with maleness, with noon. To the east, above the line represents the world of the humans. Below the line, the world of spirits. At the south, it is the peak of spiritual power. It is femaleness, midnight. At the west, movements of the sun, representing phases of human life, and so on. The other image adjacent to it, where we see the words Tukula, Kala, Levumba, Musoni, are the Congo retentions of these words within our systems. I had various loi or spirits, particularly those in Haitian Voodoo, that correspond to these terms and to this space. So already we have a mindset for thinking about decolonizing a space and using language that reflects our sensibilities and connects the various law, the various deities, the various forces of nature that correspond to these elements. So Legba is the Bakongo cosmogram, or Papa Legba in Haitian Voodoo. Legba represents enlightenment, foundation, possibility, multi-radial, and interdisciplinary thinking. And for myself as a practitioner and somebody who's been a Mambo Asogwe, a high priest for almost 30 years, this is the work that is at hand, breaking down the grid. You'll notice the background of the presentation is a graph, and it's that linear Cartesian thinking that is European. I describe it as European, or think of it as European in nature, and our task, our spiritual traditions have always been about bending that grid. So I made a deliberate visual juxtaposition. I wanted to look a little bit at Veve and Adinkra symbols. This is not complete. This is rough. It was just, Spirit told me, this is what I have to present to you in this conversation. So we're going to just look at a couple of images, and I want you to think, keep this image in mind. Keep this image in mind as you look at these images. So excuse my pronunciation for any Akan speaker there, but the Funtum Fun Efu, Dankiem Fun Efu, is the crocodile that shares the same belly. It teaches us not to quarrel in any endeavor, because sweetness is found in the fruits of united effort. But for me, this also looks very much like the Bakongo circle. Papa Legba is the gatekeeper between two worlds, the Potomitan, that is that architectural structure that connects heaven to the earth. And Legba is the master of communication. Legba guides our nervous systems and synaptic junctions. This Veve has branching lines. It has modal intersections. It has crossroads. The Funtum Funefu also has some of those elements there. And while the Adinkra symbols are largely philosophical constructs, but these philosophical constructs, these epistemological notions, are embedded in our sacred languages. And this is part of the larger, sort of set of linguistic phenomena that we have to look at and analyze and understand in order to continue sustaining the decolonization process that we are engaged in. In Haitian Voodoo, we have Ezuli Freda. This is the image to your, well, you see it, I don't have to describe where it is. It's the Black image with the white. She's a Rada spirit associated with love, connaissance, creativity, desire. In the Adinkra system, we find the Sankofa, which speaks to returning to the past to affirm one's roots and to draw lessons for the present and future. We also have Odu Nyere Fi Kwan, love does not lose its way home. Those led by love always end up in the right place. And so the combination of these images emphasize that the rootedness, the connectingness, the longing that we have, and sometimes the unrequited love that we have, at least for those of us in the diaspora, who had historically been separated and not necessarily been able to be physically reconnected with our people, but have maintained a geo-spiritual connection that is manifest in the iconography, the visual iconography that we have retained in our sacred sciences. And so when we look at disparate images, and again, just these two different systems, we're able to gather data, we're able to come to certain conclusions that inform the African worldview. And with that African worldview that sustains us, we are able to to casser or break these colonizing notions that literally bind us to mental slavery and spiritual slavery. The middle image is a Gada guardian of healing, of temples, of markets, of public places, doors, gates, and roads. Aizan is related to Loko and to Legba, but Aizan is that line, that central line in between these images. But take a look at that central image, and what do you see? What you actually see is a leaf, and that's why I have the Aya symbol, the symbol that speaks to endurance, independence, defiance against difficulties, hardness, preservation, and resourcefulness, and the Nyaminti, God's grace, that by God's grace I won't feed on leaves like an animal. So the notion of the leaf, longevity, prosperity is embedded in these images. But I also want you to look, if you can, look closely at your own arm. Look at your skin. Look at your skin and tell me what you see. You will see that the cells, the membranes of your own skin look very much like the image in the middle, that leaf, that representation of Aizan. Aizan, therefore, represents, cellular structure, but she also presides over priesthood, herbal medicine, and where do we get our medication? From nature's largest natural laboratory, our forests. And so again, the image of the leaf in the Adinkra symbols, the Aya is actually a fern, gets reaffirmed. With the good medicine that is provided to us, we are able to overcome difficulties. We are able to persevere. We are able to live as human beings and not feed on the leaves as an animal. We are able to heal ourselves and enter into spaces, particularly public spaces, and show, the nature of our humanity. And let me say one thing about Aizan Velekete. For you Nigerians, Velekete. I spoke of GIS systems. Aizan Velekete speaks specifically to the Velekete slave market that we find in Badagry. So this is an example of how, direct example of GIS system being in place. Aizan Velekete became a guiding light for myself. Velekete, what is that? When I got to Nigeria, I understood what it was. So a journey that my ancestors made hundreds of years ago manifests itself, became crystal clear why I was a priest in Velekete, and that is not an accident, and that contributed to my larger healing process. Okay, I'm going to stop here. My time is up, but I want to thank you for indulging me, for allowing me to participate in this conversation, and be happy to take any questions later on. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very beautiful presentation by the Queen Mother, and I really love that. You just went somehow. You see, when we are talking about language, you have just demonstrated that language is very important in decolonizing our religion and faiths, because most of the things you said that are in Akan or other languages, by the time you were explaining it, I found that they are so relevant and very just like some of the things we have in the Sheshe system. So it's very, very, very good. So then there's this work I was doing. So I'm doing really into the effect of sound on DNA. It's just like what you have been trying to describe. We have been saying this thing. So thank you very much for the very fantastic presentation, Queen Mother. And then you can see the Queen Mother thing. The Queen Mother thing is because of language. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.